ain't even been 12 hours since Quinta's divorce was announced, and y'all already shipping her with Tyler. Y'all, can we at least let her have her hot girl summer? Girl just filed. Can we wait until it's finalized before we get her in the dating pool? I understand, especially with the show, their characters are together, them being together in real life. It's a dream. But we have seen what happens when a love interest on screen get together off screen. Let my girl at least have her summer at the Cowboy Carter tour before y'all put her over a new man. I get it. He was supported before they even started working together. That's a good man, Savannah. But we gotta think about the family. Child star turned award-winning actor, started out on the internet, now is award-winning actress and writer. I understand it's great in theory, but we gotta think about the family. Maybe 5 years down the line, when we're wrapping up the show in season 10, after it's over, they explore what this could be. Now's not the time. Let my girl have her hot girl divorce a summer at least.
Quinta Brunson files for divorce from husband Kevin Jay Anik after 3 years of marriage. This story just broke the internet this week. According to court documents obtained by People, the Abbott Elementary star filed a petition for divorce from her husband Kevin Jay Anik on Wednesday, March 19th. Brunson, who married Anik in October 2021, listed their date of separation as TBD and cited irreconcilable differences. She also indicated that the pair entered into a post-nuptial agreement which governs the disposition of their property and requested each party be responsible for their own attorney's fees. Brunson has kept quiet about her relationship, never publicly confirming their marriage until she referred to Anik as her husband in her 2022 Emmy speech. She later thanked him again during her 2023 Golden Globes win for Best Musical or Comedy Actress Award. Now, before we get into what Black Social had to say about the whole situation, let's give just a quick recap of the relationship. So overall, she has kept very quiet about her relationship with her husband, starting all the way back to their engagement until now. Her husband appears to have no, or at least little, social media presence of his own, and he makes very rare appearances on her feed. In her 2022 memoir, She Means Well, Brunson says they started dating after meeting at a friend's birthday party. She never announced the exact date they got engaged, but did confirm it with an Instagram post on her ring in 2022, captioning the selfie, "More good news." Brunson called Anik her husband during her 2022 Emmy speech, confirming they got married. She never shared the exact date as is their style, and didn't share any photos or info about the event. Later, TMZ revealed on March 2025 the couple had been married for 3.5 years when Brunson filed for divorce in Los Angeles, citing irreconcilable differences. Now, since the announcement of her separation, Black folks have had a lot to say. Folks online are already plotting her next romantic move. You have this user here that says, "Quiet as it's kept. I wanted Quinta and Tyler together since I saw the sketch for Rome and Jaleesa on a Black Lady sketch show." This one over here says, "I hope Quinta has a prenup. Too, I want her and Tyler James Williams to ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after," said another. And another one said, "Now she can marry Tyler James Williams." So we see different users and we see different Black women already plotting her next romantic move. And here's the interesting thing about this whole situation. First of all, she's not even divorced yet. I mean, I'm like, clearly we see how there is such a lack of respect for marriage. The woman has not even divorced. She just announced it today. It says TBD. For all we know, they could be trying to work on things somewhat. Like, we don't know any of the details, but you have people already trying to plot who they want her to marry when she is still legally married. Like, clearly there is not any respect for the covenant of marriage. Now, some people don't see marriage as covenant. Some people see it as a business agreement. They see it as just something you do in the human courts, and perhaps that is the first problem. But secondly, the second thing that I want you guys really to think about is the Swirler Reachback. Now, it just so happens that Quinta Brunson is married to a white man. And we all know the amount of propaganda that goes around that says that Black women who marry white men are so much more likely to stay together and so much more likely to have long-lasting relationships. And while I don't necessarily see anything wrong with interracial relationships in and of themselves, the propaganda behind it is just really annoying. Which, unfortunately, in this situation with Quinta Brunson and her husband, they are showing that that is not necessarily always the case. And there can be multiple reasons for this. Black women who date and marry white men still have challenges they have to face. Just because somebody dates and marries out does not mean that the relationship is automatically going to work, it's going to be easier, or it's going to be destined for success. In fact, when somebody dates a person outside of their race, that opens up and invites another set of challenges, such as intercultural challenges. And then we also have to consider class. We know she's a very successful person in the entertainment industry. Also consider class. I mean, we know she is a successful star. She has a lot of eyeballs on her. We know nothing about her husband. We don't know his job. We don't know if he is he a business owner? Is she the major breadwinner and he doesn't make a ton of money? Was he more of like a house husband? Like, we don't know the situation, but if there is a class distinction, that can also be a challenge. On top of just the day-to-day struggles that come with two people learning how to build a life together. That's going to be hard irregardless. But then when you add those components to it, it's just going to make it a lot more complicated. And so I know, social media, they love to go online and create all these stories. And there's particularly a market for seeing Black successful women date out, right? A lot of ladies see that as a social status, but that does not necessarily mean that those relationships are destined to thrive. But here's another thing that I've noticed about this whole thing. Now, Quinta Brunson, she's doing her things with her husband, right? They're still working things out. So I'm not going to really focus on her. I want to focus, however, more on the social media discourse, what we are seeing among Black people, what we are seeing among Black women. And the fact that you have this actress, right, who was in a relationship with a white man, and now these people are so quick to want to push her in a relationship with a Black man, right? And we could argue that, okay, maybe this is more fantasy, or maybe they're serious, they like the chemistry, but it's like a classic example of these Black ladies, or of these Black ladies on social media literally advocating for the Swirler Reachback. Now, what do I mean when I say the Swirler Reachback, right? There are men out there who have this idea, no matter how crazy you think it is, no matter how closed-minded or racist, there are men out there of really any other race who are not willing to mess with a lady who has dated out. There's white men who feel this way. They won't mess with a white woman if she's dated outside of her race. There are Black men who feel this way. They will not mess with a Black woman who was dated or married outside of their race. There are men out there who have that idea. You can argue with them about it, you can debate them about it, but it is a thing. And there's a significant amount of Black men who feel that way. So it's interesting for me to see these users go online and, in their fantasy, push for her to now be with a Black man after she's, with her white husband. Of course, I think that's disrespectful because she's legally still married to him. But secondly, it shows me the mindset of these ladies. They don't understand how these things work. Yes, there is a Black woman who can be in a relationship with a white man and then find another Black man after who's going to date and marry her. They don't see that way. But there are also a large portion of Black men who are going to disqualify a woman just because she's dated and married out. Again, I'm not saying that's right. Again, I'm not saying that that's necessarily always the case, but it is a thing. But the fact that we see ladies talking about these things and they're not even including that in the conversation shows me that there is such a lack of understanding of how men think or what men may desire or what may be considered a red flag for somebody. There's such this huge disconnect. And it also shows me why I think ladies can be so comfortable flirting with the idea of swirling, promoting the idea of swirling, even if they don't even really intend to do it. But they get caught up in these trends because they're fun and because they're exciting, thinking that Black men are always going to be there and that the best of Black men are always going to be there when they're done going through the bad phase. And I'm like, it doesn't always work like that. And again, I'm not speaking directly to Quinta Brunson as much as I am speaking to these ideas that float around on social media. So it's just so interesting to see how people oftentimes will live vicariously through the lives of these actors or actresses, how people can live vicariously through the lives of these celebrities, and how it can also give us insight into the mindsets that people are having today. But as I said before, a lot of Black men these days, they're not falling for the reachback, and they're definitely not falling for the Swirler Reachback. And I think ladies need to at least know that. Anyways, that's what I got. What do y'all think? Do you agree or you disagree? Let me know. And we'll talk later, okay? Bye.